Hello friends, welcome to Squaird Plans, where creative planning and organization comes to life. I'm Stephanie, and today we're going to be doing a flip through of all of my April After the Pen spreads here in my catch-all Frankenplanner system. I'll be showing you guys a little bit about my planner setup, as well as all of the completed spreads that I did in 3 out of the 4 major planners I have in here. I'll also show you a little bit about my annual planner and my reference section in the back, discuss my budget planner, even though it will remain closed off. But yeah, just an overview. I usually do these flip throughs live. However, most of you already know I recently moved to a new state, and our internet at our location is just not up to the task. I did do a live for my March flip through, and it was very jumpy and wasn't consistent all the way through. And I have found that the internet speeds are much slower where I'm at. I'm looking into options, but I thought for this month, the best solution would be to pre-record, and then I'll jump on the chat while you guys are watching this video and then answer any questions that come up while you're looking. So hopefully that will be a nice go-between until I figure out the internet situation and can go back to the live format. So thank you guys all for joining me. If you're watching this during the premiere, and if you're watching this after, great, that works too. Feel free again to leave any comments both in the chat or in the comment section if you want to, just say how you like the video, give me any feedback on this premiere format. Also too, if you have any questions, that's a great place to put it in the comments, or like I said, if you're joining me live, then in the chat. Okay, you guys, so that said, let's go ahead and jump in and get started on the flip through. So first off, if you guys are new to my channel, or if you've never seen my planner, I Frankenplan. So I put multiple planners into one planner, and I work a month at a time out of this planner. And then I have separate areas where I will pull out the next month and then put in the month that is upcoming. So I only keep a month at a time in here. I also am using a cover here from DIY I did last spring. I reused it again this year for 2024, but I made it in 2023. I'll try to link that video in case you want to see the DIY. This printable is available for free in that video along with the backer. So if you want to make a cover like this on your own, you can go ahead and check out that video. But I really just loved how this turned out, so I decided to use it again here for 2024. And then I also have some expander Happy Planner rings in black here on the spine, just to coordinate well with the look of the cover. I was using gold 1.5 inch rings at the beginning of the year and switched them out I think about a month and a half ago to coordinate with the cover. Okay, so that said, that is my cover system. Let's jump into just a brief overview of my setup. Let me get everything looking good. So I have a sticky dash, which was a DIY I did. I'll link that video down below as well. So it's just a backer with a laminated pocket and then also a folder pocket here in the front. So I really love this. It's got like a double pocket system on the back, but then a nice easy area to house a bunch of sticky notes, which is what I like to have at the front of my planner. And the plastic always makes it a little bit easier for them to stick well. In this, I've put in my book library reading log here. I'm using this somewhat temporarily, but I don't know when I'm going to get to what I really want to do, which is kind of like a collections page of books read for 2024 and all that good stuff. Been a little busy at the beginning of the year, so I don't know if I'm going to get to it until maybe mid-year, or I might just hold off and do it in 2025. We'll find out. I also have my pin loop here, which was another DIY project, and it's just made out of a strip of leather. I do have a video on that, so if you want to know more, I can link that video for you. Just drop it in the comments or in the chat. Okay, so I have my planner set up in a pretty organized system. The side tabs are where I keep the major sections in my planner. The first section here is my inbox, and I will go through that real quick. So my inbox is a printable from my shop that utilizes the Getting Things Done method by David Allen in kind of a paper format, so you can use it to organize things, brain dump things, and then organize it to actionable items. So I have this in my shop, and I printed out the pages that I necessarily need. But this, honestly, I haven't really had time to go in and really get into the weeds on this because I have been so busy at the beginning of the year. But it's just nice that I know it's there, so I can get it out of my head, have it here, and then when I'm ready, I can jump in and get started on that. So I have all those sheets up front, first thing, and then the next section is my goals section. So I made some dashboards here. These are DIY dashboards that you'll see throughout this 6-tab system. And yeah, they're not available for sale anywhere, but I did make them, DIY'd them. So my goals section here is set up with some inserts that I created. I do have a video series on it if you want to know more about how I set these up, but basically it's just a DIY insert. I have my annual pages here at the front, along with my quarterly pages that I just set up recently, and then I have a couple of pages ready to go. I did have some goals review pages kind of in the wings waiting to go, but I don't know if I'm going to do my goals review pages this year. I do like the practice of going back and reviewing your goals and kind of assessing and making adjustments. I just haven't really had the time. Again, like I said, I've been a little bit busy, so I don't know how I'm going to end up doing this, but maybe I'll pick it up in the mid-year, so I'll leave them here for now. Also have my productivity section. This is another section that's somewhat new to my planner. I am revamping all of my routines inserts. I used to have a setup with my morning routine, a block schedule, and a master schedule. I've already set up my morning schedule, and again, it's just a DIY insert. And then I have a spread ready to go from my hourly grid layout in my shop for my master schedule that I'll be setting up. And then on the back, I have my block schedule. So I have videos on these two, the morning schedule and the block schedule, if you just kind of want to see more about that. I have a really in-depth video that talks about building routines, which is in my goal setting series playlist as well. I did that a few years ago, but it's got a lot more information than the newer ones that I did. So if you really want to kind of like dig deep, figure out how to get your schedules going, your routines going, that video I recommend because it kind of tells you step by step how to do it. I also have my Kanban board in here. This is for a big project that has plagued me for years, but I really like that I have this in here because I can see what I have left to do. I'm also tracking how the Kanban is going, so I can see what's been done already, and then again pick it up when I'm ready to make some progress on this goal. And then finally, I have a monthly cleaning schedule, which is a laminated sheet that I made. I do have a video on that as well, but basically I use a Sharpie fine liner on this, and then I can erase it with a little bit of alcohol at the end of the month and reset it. Everything is pretty much transferable into my new place. The only thing is that the trash day is now on Wednesday instead of Tuesday, but it kind of reminds me to put the trash out on Tuesday night before the trash man comes. So I think it'll still work and I won't have to actually redo this. However, I haven't really used it since back in January, since again we were moving and stuff. So I'm looking forward to resetting this and getting this going for May, because where I'm at now requires a lot more cleaning and I need to keep on top of it. And then on the back, I have this spring cleaning checklist. This is just more of the annual items that I have to do. So it's just a nice way to keep track of those things throughout the year. And then when you're ready to revamp it, no matter what time of year you get to it, you kind of know what's been done, and then you can reset it when everything is complete. So now we're into my schedule section. And my schedule section is where we're going to spend most of our time today. I'm going to be showing you guys my different planners that are all organized using top tabs here at the top. So anything that has a dated section in it is basically in this schedules tab, and then I navigate through it using these top tabs. I've ordered it by annual pages basically at the front, so I call that kind of my yearly planner. Then it will go into my faith planner. Next is my health planner, and then my agenda planner, which is kind of like my everyday catch-all planner. And then at the very back is my financial planner, which I won't go through, but we can talk about a little bit as well. So my schedule section, again, will be where we live most of this video. I have my year at a glance here at the front, and in it, it's basically just a printable from my shop with the year on 2 pages. You've got the 2025 and 2024, so you can see ahead. I also had this free printable I gave away in my planner setup for 2024 with important dates and holidays. I like that it's not part of the calendar system, so if I'm using a monthly layout, for example, I don't have to worry about working around holidays that may not apply to me. But I do like to have a reference of holidays in case I personally, need to know. So like, for example, Mother's Day. That's kind of a big one, so I definitely wanted to make sure I didn't forget that day, so I just double-checked this sheet and knew what day it fell on this year. And that first tab here is what I'm calling my year at a glance. This planner is a little bit different as far as the setup of the tab system compared to the other 3, but I still kind of do it in a specific order, so it makes sense to me in the morning. I also have my yearly habits tracker, so this is a printable in my shop as well. I'm using this to track my goals, habits that I'm trying to keep up with, mainly my self-care habits, but anything that kind of falls in that area is where I'm putting in this annual tracker. My goals will vary from quarter to quarter, so I may not always be tracking my self-care here, but there was definitely a big push in the beginning of the year, and then here I'm trying to also just kind of keep that maintenance going, so I'm going to still be tracking those self-care items here on this sheet. But it's just a simple habit tracker sheet. I really like this setup. And then next I have my future log. So this is a super valuable insert for my planner, mainly because I only keep a month at a time in here. So having this allows me to future plan, put down anything that is, coming up in advance. And then when I move my next month in, I can double check and see if there's anything for that month that I need to migrate into my monthly, weekly, and, just kind of keep track of that with my planning. So I have that. It's color coded using these washi dot stickers. Made just a little insert here to go with the an insert to go with this insert. It's a printable from my shop, but to go with it so that I could easily have those dots on hand. That was one of the gating factors last time I used the washi dots, is that they were just on the roll away from my planner. So I decided just to make a little home for them in case I needed them on the fly. I could just move them over while in this area. So that is my future log. And then the final tab here in these annual pages is where I put my memory keeping monthly. So this is how the April spread turned out. I do set up these pages as a plan with me. So if you are, interested in kind of seeing the setup of these pages, I do that as a video once a month, so you can check that out. But basically, I'm using a aligned monthly from my shop to write in a memory each day. I have a real hard time being succinct with my memories, mainly because most days are pretty routine. So I tried to write down anything that was unusual to distinguish each day from the other. This one here is a really pretty theme, I thought. I think cherry blossom branches came out really nice. Even though I'm not a very pink focus girl. Like, pink is really not my favorite color. I try to steer away from pink, but I really think that this one turned out well, even though it is very pink heavy. And then on the back, so I usually just print out the month in note sheet on the back as a currently of sorts for this section. And in that, I've been tracking the movies I watched, the TV I watched basically as well, any books read, and or audiobooks. So I do a lot of audiobook reading, but I've been trying to do more physical book reading, or, digital book reading where I'm reading with my eyes and not listening. So I have that there. I actually haven't finished this book, but it's still going, but I did start it back in April. So that's how it turned out. I've already got May set up in here, ready to go. So we'll just go ahead and skip that. But that tab is ready to go. So I will make sure I hit all those pages that have content that I need to look at every day. So next we're going to get into my faith planner, which is my first technically real planner, if you will. Has a overview page at the front, a monthly page, weekly pages, and then I have like a project page at the back. So that's what these 4 tabs are going to denote, and each one of those has things that I need to do every morning. I like to set up my faith planner in one theme, so I do the entire month in one theme. It just simplifies life a little bit more for me. So this month I did kind of around Easter. Easter, I think, fell on the 31st of March. And so I was a little bit late, but I still thought that it would work out well because April is usually when Easter is. But a nice cross and florals theme with this pink and green to be very springy. Here, this layout is available. I'm going to keep saying that. It's available in my shop, blah, blah, blah. But pretty much everything that I use is stuff that's in my shop at this point. I just found that customizing my planners has just made it so much easier than trying to find what I want, or not really finding what I want, but having to try to work around things or tweak pages to make it work for me. So yeah, I've just been using a lot of my own stuff that I've kind of found works well. So this is called the Faith Overview layout. I have here a prayer list checklist set up along with some dot grid at the bottom. Huge dot grid page over here. This is some currently prompts here that are spiritually based, faith-based. So you can check in with, how you're doing with your walk with God. Just write in a few things here on the side. And then over here is also some habit trackers. So I've been using that to track my monthly routine, my morning routine of prayer, reading, lettering, and then writing in my application. So pretty much the prayer is related to the prayer list. The reading, I have a daily reading that I do through the YouVersion Bible app that it just auto feeds. I read the Bible once a year. It just gives me the verses to read automatically, so it's kind of nice. I also grab the verse of the day from that same app, and that's where I'll do my lettering, which I'll show you in a minute. And then the application is basically related to the reading, where I try to pull out some kind of takeaway from my daily reading to apply to my life, some little snippet that I can think on and meditate on, and also, try to recognize in life, you know what I mean? So that's how I've been using the habit trackers, just to keep track of that. I also usually put in a monthly verse, so I've been lettering in just a verse that I feel would work well for the month, and then, look at that periodically throughout the month. And okay, so the next spread is the monthly spread, and here's where I do that application. I do preset it up, and then as I go through, I'll write in the verses that I read that day, and then I'll write in an application or a takeaway from that reading. Because I was moving this first week, basically, of April into March, early April, I missed a number of days, really, of reading. So what I started to do was double up my reading when I could. So some of them are going to be a little bit extra long. I think I've doubled up Saturday and Sunday. It looks like I doubled up maybe another couple days where I have some extra, so that I was trying to catch up. I'm still like a day behind, but I was able to catch up a lot of the missed days, which was nice. Other than that, that's pretty much how I've been using this. The next spread is the weekly, and so I'm using the quadrant layout from my shop. This has just been the best layout I've found for the verse writing. It just gives me the right amount of room. The vertical box is just perfect, and I feel like it works the best. I tried horizontal. It doesn't quite work as well with horizontal when you're trying to get creative with the lettering, and vertical is just way too narrow. So this has just been a perfect sizing for what I use it for, which is this verse of the day lettering. I do have a Bible series, well, not a Bible series, a lettering series that really ties in with my Bible lettering. So if you want to know more about how I approach this, do check that series out. I can link it for you if you are looking for that specifically. So this was the first week. And like I said, I missed a few days because of the move, but I got back on schedule this next week. So I like to pick out a couple of colors to match in with the theme. I had 2 Tombow pens in a pink and a green that I used throughout, and I just alternated the colors every other day just to mix things up and again tie in with the theme. I really liked how a lot of these ones turned out. I was feeling pretty good about the lettering in some of these and just the ideas I had. I knew I was gonna get to the spread and have to tell you guys about the Grinch hands. I had a rough morning that morning, and I was trying to just adjust the sketches that I had done for the hands, and it just didn't come out quite how I wanted it. And then I started to like try to shade it, and it just got worse. And then I colored it green, and so we ended up with the Grinch hands, which made me laugh every time I look at it. But yeah, so these were just supposed to be basic hands, but they ended up being Grinch hands. Everything else was okay. I think this week was a little bit more rough than the previous week, but still there's some good ones in here, but just not all. And I think this might be the final week, yeah, because it kind of cut off in the middle of April, and then the rest of the days of April are in the May setup. So this was the final week. Again, some good ideas I thought came out of this one. This one was kind of nice. I like to look in the app. Usually they'll have a few images of the verse of the day to kind of help stimulate ideas for how I might want to lay out the lettering. Sometimes they're not very good. Sometimes they have, things that really spark my interest. So I saw one with a column, and I thought that would be a really good idea for this. And I really like how that turned out. So that is my faith weeklies. And then the final step, it was to do a faith project. So I tried a few different things for this page. I needed to be fairly low commitment. So what I ended up doing this month was back to the one I think I started with, which was seeing God's work in my life. This was a suggestion by one of my subscribers. And so I tried that out in January. I liked it. It was definitely just the right amount of commitment that I needed. So I brought it back here for April, and I just kind of labeled the weeks. And then each week I would put in how I saw God working in my life. So just run that down, and that's pretty much my faith planner for April. Let me go ahead and pull it out, and I'll show you guys where it lives. So this is my faith planner, and it is just an old Happy Planner cover with some matching discs that I had in my stash. It's not a formal planner. It's just something I use to organize these planner pages. So I have some old dividers that I didn't use, things like that, just to help me keep things all together and then know where to pull inserts from, etc. And I've already got May in, so April will just live here and goes back on my little shelf where I won't look at it till June. I have all my tabs in because May has already started, so we're going to jump ahead to the next section, which is my health planner. Okay, so my health planner is set up in a very similar fashion. Starts off with an overview page similar to the similar to the faith overview. It also has a second section, which would normally be the monthly, but the health section has a couple of charts, which I'll show you. I have the health week, which is a standard weekly vertical, and then I have my health trackers at the back. So kind of the same flow. I've talked about this in a couple of videos, basically how I set things up for efficiency and routine, so I always know where to find things. I don't have to look. I always know that the overview spreads are going to be here at the front. The weeklies are at the third tab. I know, the monthly sections are here on the second tab. I just kind of know without having to actually look, and that's really the key to my system. It's just more efficient and more automatic. So I am going into the health planner now, and the first layout is, again, that health overview. This layout in particular is a kind of a custom combobulation, I guess would be the word. That was the word that came to mind, of two separate things that are in my shop in different places, and then I just kind of like smacked them together. So the step trackers are available in my shop just as standalone pages. The single page monthly overview with a habit tracker is available, but without the step tracker. It just has like a line monthly. So these things, like I said, are available in my shop, just kind of in different configurations. And if you want something exactly like this, I can do custom layouts. Just going to put that out there, but just know that this doesn't exist as is in my shop, but you can piecemeal it if you're wanting to do that instead. So this I created for myself, like I said, with a habit tracker. Got the step trackers, which was really important to me this year. And then I have this single page monthly that I'm using to track my workouts. And then I've been using the lined area below to actually map out my workout routine for the month. That I did, I think the previous year or the year before that. I can't remember how long ago. COVID years, losing track when I did things. I feel like, I don't know, COVID stole so much time. But anyway, so I really liked having the written format of my strength training routine. Really helped keep me on track and just kind of give me a place to start. So I wasn't just fumbling around trying to figure out what I wanted to do every day that I wanted to lift. Also really love seeing it on a monthly format when I actually completed my workouts. I can tell from April it was not as strong of a month as the previous months had been. Again, mainly because of the move and just getting reoriented in my new place. But I started to pick things back up, and I, recommitted to myself for May now that I've been here a month, just trying to get back on track. I don't do setup videos on this, so the decor and everything for the monthly pages I just kind of set up on my own, but they will match. These florals came from some washi tape PET tape that I had that I thought would be a really good combination for this kind of springy, bright, fun health planner. Yellow is a pretty bright color, so I just thought it would be a good combination. I like to do different types of themes, but I have to be kind of careful with these layouts because they are so functional that the decor isn't stealing away actual functional space. So the PET tape worked perfectly. It was just the right amount of, decor without, like I said, really encroaching on that space I need. So this is the health wellness layout, I call it, but basically where the monthly lives in this planner. So these are just two monthly charts that I've been using for tracking my meds and supplements. So I track when I'm taking them and how much I'm taking of each. I also added a little mood, sleep, and stress tracker chart here just to kind of see if there's any correlations. Honestly, this doesn't really seem to correlate too much other than my mood and my stress levels basically being inverted. So if I'm having a good mood, then usually stress is low. And if I'm in a bad mood, usually stress is high. Sleep, unless I really have a terrible night's sleep, doesn't normally come into play. So just good information to find out about myself. And I know that now because I've been tracking it for a few months and just kind of see how things go. I've color coded these areas here. So I have like green being my allergy stuff, and the red is usually my skincare type meds and subs, and then the blue is anything that's like overarching vitamins, anything that's just like anti-inflammation, things like that. So I have that there. I also here have my health symptom tracker, which has been very valuable as well. I try to find some correlations between triggers and symptoms for all my chronic allergy, asthma, just all this other nonsense that I have going on right now. So I just list out all the symptoms that I have, and each day I kind of give it a dot performance level, I guess. So if it's really bad, it's going to be a giant dot. If it's not too bad, it'll be like medium, and then just barely small dot, and then if nothing, it'll be blank. I also have a severity tracker just to kind of see how bad it was and if it really affected me, like my work, or, you know, how I could actually live life. And, you know, a couple days when it's pretty severe, definitely has, it has affected me. If it gets up into the 3, 4, 5, it's usually pretty bad. So most of the time it's just like this mild chronic level of being congested and tired and unable to smell, things like that. But some days it can get a lot worse. I also have my triggers. So I noticed that in this new place, there's some different triggers. It's much drier here than my previous location. That's actually pretty good for my lung health, and it's supposed to be good for my nose health, but I haven't really seen too much improvement with my nasal issues. But it's just good to kind of see, you know, if I get super severe in correlation to something else that's happening in the triggers. So this chart is really a good one if you're trying to figure things out for your own health. Oh, and then quickly, both of these are available in my shop as separate inserts. Okay, so this was the first week of April, and I wasn't at all prepared for this spread at all. I think I ended up doing it on this Friday because we were moving, and I didn't have time to do a setup for this one. So I ended up doing it like Friday or Saturday, and back planning all of the stuff that happened and what I was eating and stuff. So I really like how it turned out, though, even though it's not my normal style, I would say. I do love a good rainbow, but I don't know. Just like the styling of these types of stickers, I feel like the Happy Planner is really going more towards the Gen Z vibe of kind of postmodernism and just like 70s retro, bring back, you know, just all of that. And it's not really my vibe. I mean, I guess I'm older, you know, it's just a product of how you grew up, and I can appreciate it, but it doesn't really speak to me. So I had a couple of sticker books that I tried out with these like quotes, and I combined them with some Planny Thing stickers, which I liked, which I think kind of worked. It was like we were going from, you know, the coast to the desert, and so I brought in some cactuses and some like, I don't know, Mexican style homes, which kind of works with where we're at now. And yeah, I think it actually turned out pretty good in the end, even though it's not my normal vibe. But as you can see, I didn't have a lot of workouts this week because, again, it was more about unpacking, cleaning, so there's a lot of work, but not workouts. So I just did these little boxes, and again, just did the rainbow color coding. I think it actually turned out really cute. Trying to refocus the next week, so I was like, let's eat healthy, we're in a new place, let's just get groceries that are good for you instead of all the junk. And so I kind of did a theme around that, about eating your greens. Again, I don't think there was a plan with me on this. I don't know if I did any plan with me's for my health, maybe one in April. But I used some Planning Thing washi tape, which I'm really in love with, this washi tape. I used it here as well. I didn't know that I was going to like it so much, but I really think it's very versatile. and can work with a lot of different themes. So I've been using that. This is actually a Van Gogh washi tape that I thought the green worked well with the veggies I pulled from some older Happy Planner recipe books and food books. And these stat stickers, these are something that I made on my computer, but I did do a Canva video showing you guys how to make your own stat stickers if you ever wanted to do something like this in your own planner and DIY it. Very simple actually in Canva, and I do a step-by-step tutorial if you want to see how to do that. The rest here were basically my food log, and I wanted to track my veggie servings. That was one of my goals for April, was to increase my veggies to 5+ servings a day. I only eat once a day, so it was kind of hard to shove a bunch of servings into one meal, but I did definitely get better at it as the month went through. I went and looked for some recipes and really made that happen. But this was kind of the start of the reset. So now we're into the next week. I think this is the one I did do a plan with me on. This one was really fun. I go back and forth on whether I like these or not. I think that the added color is great, but it's the repetition I think that I don't like as much. But I really love how these turned out, these kind of little circles of outdoorsy things. Wasn't camping, wasn't going out into the great outdoors at all. But I wanted to use these stickers because I just love this vibe of, just being out in the woods and stuff. It's just a nice thing. It's not as fun when you're actually in it, but it's fun to watch people be in it. Sleeping in the cold and on the ground isn't always that fun, but I don't know. There's also some really good memories, like campfire memories and things like that. So I do like the idea of being outdoors, and so I thought this was a nice theme, even though we weren't going anywhere of the sort. Same type of things, though. I'm still tracking my food log and my stats, and then this is where I'm tracking my workouts. So this is where I started to pick things up a little bit more, even though there were a few no workout days. Again, just trying to get back into the groove. And then this one, I did not do a plan with me on, but I really like how it turned out. More of a subtle pastel kind of self-care style spread. I'm not a big fan of gold in my planner, but I think this turned out well. I was kind of limited on what I could use with the color scheme I wanted to pull in. And these were stickers from, I think, a Color Story sticker book, one of the sets of Color Story, so I was able to pull them in along with some washi tape that I just color coordinated and then did like a gradient across the spread, which is always a fun one. I really like to see color across, especially in my health planner. Usually pastels aren't as motivating, but I think just the nice subtle color was nice to see. I didn't work out as much as I'd wanted to, but still I do like the color scheme, even though it's a little bit more soft. And finally, we have my last monthly page, which is my health tracker tab. But basically, I use this to track my fasting hours. Again, I'm trying to eat basically one meal a day. Anytime that I have like a dotted line and then another dot, it's usually like I ate my meal kind of midday, and then later in the evening, I was still hungry, so I had like a little snack. So that's usually what you'll see there, but I will track my fasting hours from the first dot to the last dot, no matter what. But I do like to see like how I set out to eat and then end up, if I end up caving late in the night, then I like to see how that all turned out. I also started highlighting the days where I went over 20-hour fasting. And so that's just a nice way to kind of keep track of how I'm progressing. I try to keep from 20 to 22 hours a day fasting each day. So it's just nice to see that all at once where I'm actually meeting those goals. And then I've been using here in the notes section how, my start and end fasting hours go. So it just makes it a little easier to calculate. This is available in my shop as is, along with another version that's a 24-hour fasting hour chart in case you have a little bit different intermittent fasting thing that you need to track, maybe like a 16/8 or a 12/12 or whatever you're doing, or maybe even every other day. So that is available, but this works perfectly for me for my one meal a day. I just kind of track the hours I normally eat in, and then I vary the time I start, but for the most part, this is all that I need. Okay, so that's my health planner. So let's go ahead and grab that out. So this again is just another kind of combination holding place for my health trackers or for my health planner. And so some Happy Planner dividers again, Happy Planner cover and folder discs that I think coordinate well with the cover. And again, that will just live on my shelf. So we're going to go ahead and jump ahead to the last planner that we'll go through, which is my agenda planner. I'll also mention too, at the back of the fasting page, I also have this spread, which is a health tracker spread. Inside, I track my weight and my measurements, so I keep that closed. And then on the back, I've been tracking my monthly health stats. So it's a combination of all of the individual stats daily on a monthly view. So I can kind of see how I'm doing each month. And then if I'm, going up or down on, exercise minutes or stand hours, things like that. And then this is the monthly totals, and down here is the daily averages. So it's just really good information. And I really liked seeing it on the monthly scale and then comparing it to various months just to see how I'm doing. Okay, so now we're on to the agenda planner. Again, another insert from my shop. The first section is going to be my month overview or monthly overview. This is where I keep like my monthly to-do list. Again, some habits that I want to track. And then over here, I have my monthly goals. So another kind of combined planner setup, taking something that's in my shop but not these two pages together. So I have a goals and tasks set up for this, and then I have a monthly overview insert as well. It's kind of separate with a different page on this left side. So just again, another kind of customized combination that I'm using this year that really works for me. That said, I do a running task list here. Here I'm tracking my goals. So things that are related to my goal setup. If I'm working on those goals, put them here. If I'm doing any freelance work, I put it here. Audiobook time, another thing I like to track. And then I've been also trying to keep up with my typing skills that I recently acquired last fall. It's not been going well, but I have it there to kind of try to keep me reminded to practice. And over here is my monthly goals. This I set up in a individual video. I do a full decor setup of all of my monthly pages in the agenda overview as a plan with me. So you can see that if you want to kind of see the setup of the monthly, but I go back and actually fill out my monthly goals on camera later in a separate video. So I did that for this one, along with my quarterly goals for the month of April. So now here's the agenda month, and this is just a basic monthly spread. Here I'm just tracking those types of appointments and events I need to remember for the month, things that maybe due or birthdays, things like that. So that's what I'm using this for. And again, it's all kind of themed out in the same theme, as you'll see, which I really loved how this theme turned out. It was really fun to be in. So this is my first weekly in my agenda planner, and this planner I'm basically using with a lot of function, but I'm trying to keep it decorative as well. So it's a real balance. I'm still figuring out exactly how I want the hourly section to look. So each week will probably look a little bit different as far as what I'm using for call outs or if I'm using arrows. But I think I'm getting to a point where I really like the final look, which you'll see near the end. I put my to-do list for the day at the very top, and then the time in this insert, this is the hourly grid insert in my shop, starts at 6 and it goes all the way down to 10. So I don't usually wake up before 7. So I usually will white that out and then put in the hourly stuff that I do down into 10. Here I'll also put in a weekly checklist, so anything that doesn't need to be done on a specific day. And the process I'll go through here in a minute of how I actually plan in this, but it's more of a tracker in the end, which I'll explain. This theme I pulled from an old, like, back to school sticker book. I think it might have been Brave Teacher, if I'm not mistaken. So that's where I pulled those stickers from, and then I just coordinate it with a matching highlighter. Okay, so this one was a super simple one. I used some older Cocoa Daisy stickers along with some of their washi tape that came in one of their boxes way back when, and just did like a washi run along the top and the bottom with a few strategic stickers. Again, super functional, so I don't always know where I can put stickers and not encroach upon the design of the functional items, but this has been working out pretty good, top and bottom, and then just minimal here on the sides. So as you can see, this looks a little bit different. I did kind of like a line showcasing the actual time I spent in each category. That wasn't too bad, but I decided to make a change later. I also started tracking my work hours again. I kind of took a break during the move, but then picked that back up because I'm trying to stay under 8-hour days and max 40-hour weeks. So I think it's been pretty doable lately. It was a little bit harder before, but I think I'm at a point where it will be much more, like I said, doable. Again, to-dos at the top. And so what I do is I pre-plan the timed sections out using some task flags, like so. This is where I put in the pre-planning using these types of flags. And then as the day is done, I'll go back and put in what I actually did. So I know how much time I actually spent in each section of my life. I've been trying to get this AM routine down to 2 hours. Today is the first day I've done it, and I had to skip like 1 or 2 little things. So, I don't know. I really want it to be 2 hours, but it's just not seeming to work out as well as I'd hoped. So usually it bleeds into 3 hours and sometimes longer if I get distracted by my husband or something. So, yeah, I don't know if I should start planning for 3 hours or if I just need to be more efficient. Need to do one or the other. But I really liked the color in this one. The blue is really nice with the coordinating stickers. So this one was, again, a setup I did with this washi tape at the top and then kind of minimal stickers at the bottom. Normally, I go till about 9 o'clock and then I call a hard stop on any work at 9. So I thought that putting in these washi stickers here at the bottom would be fine because it's around the 9 o'clock mark. I don't know what happened, but this week I ended up doing a lot more into the later hours of the night. So some of them did bleed behind the stickers, but for the most part it worked out. Again, just kind of picked a coordinating color for the highlighter. And this week I decided to box the things that were non-work segments. And then anything that was work, I just kind of kept with this highlighted, hand-lettered work. And that was easy so that I could call out, okay, that was a work block, and I could track my work hours a little bit simpler. And then anything else was not that styling. I also decided to kind of divide out the to-do list from the hourly, since sometimes it's a little bit hard to differentiate, as you can see on some of the pages. I think this one was fine, that this one got a little bit convoluted. Again, this week, and work hours tracker on the side. And then that was pretty much it. So again, just trying to mix that functional aspect with the decor. And then this was the last week of April. I tried something a little bit different, focusing the decor on the sides, kind of bleeding a little bit more into Sunday, but trying not to do too much so that I can still write in what I did. And that actually ended up working out really nicely as well. So I have a few different designs that I can do with these pages and still keep it fresh and exciting to be in. This one I actually pulled some ink and colored the background to blend in with the blue backed paper stickers. And that's a really good technique because it's just ink, it's chalk ink that you can write on top of. So if you want to add more color without sacrificing functional space, I found that that's actually a really good technique because you can write on top of it. So that's how this one turned out. And again, I did that box out with the kind of highlighted work blocks, and I really think that that's working out really nicely. I'm using a Tombow Funonosuke brush tip pen in a hard tip for all of the darker black lettering, and then my friction pen for the rest. And the final spread here in my agenda planner is my social media spread. Basically, I track my social media followers and subscribers over here on this monthly, along with the growth between the 2 months, and a couple of weekly items that I like to do as a checklist. And then over here, I have my social media schedule. Usually I set this up off camera, but I think for May, I had the time to do it on camera because I hadn't quite set up my schedule yet. So it was kind of nice. I could show you, but basically I theme everything out with the same theme and then schedule out my social media schedule. So that's pretty much it. I don't use the back page for anything. These 2 pages are sort of available in my shop. I have a lot of single page monthly layouts that you can use as a separate insert. And then this one was customized down here for me, for my social media. But again, this is just very similar to the workout single page month that I used at the front. So there's some options there if you want a single page month and you want some different sizes. I do have a couple of inserts that do that. All right, let's pull this out. And again, this lives in its own planner. Another DIY storage planner. Oh, I need to move my memory a day in here. So let me put April away. And then I also have my April month memory a day that I need to put away that I've been putting in this planner as well as a whole new place. Let's just go to that. Oh, I think that's... Okay, we already have May in there. Starting to lose track of what I'm doing here. Okay, I'm going to grab that out too. So yeah, this gets stored here as well. And then the new ones are there ready to go. Okay, and that is my agenda planner. So let's go ahead and jump back. The very last planner in this schedule section that I mentioned is my budget planner. I don't showcase this, but basically it's got a 4-tab system as well. It's got my Etsy sales on a perpetual calendar, my financial month, which is another like single page month, and the list of income versus expenses at the bottom. I have a full chart of expenses and income on the other side for a monthly view, so they're kind of bookmarked. I have a running expense check register, if you will, and then the final pages are my bank accounts and my daily transactions. So I do have a setup video on that if you just kind of want to see how I use the budget planner. It's got fake numbers, but you can definitely see the pages and how I'm utilizing them in case you are looking for some ideas for your own budget planner. So that's that whole section. Last but not least, we have the last 2 tabs, which is my reference section and then my collections tab at the back. My reference section is basically where I house any long-term storage items that I may need to reference. And I've organized them into 4 tabs. I've got my personal tab, and during my spring refresh with the cover, I also refresh the dashboards here in these pretty florals. Again, a DIY project that I showcased in that video before. So I have my personal section. I have my business section. I have my work, which is, so business is Etsy, work is freelance design work, and then my social media section. So that's like all those YouTube and Instagram ideas and things I have there. And then this is that collections tab, which is not filled out. It goes back to that whole reading books and stuff that I want to do in here but haven't done yet. So I just have a short list of books to read. And then I have my pocket folder with some items in there, keeping track of, and some loose paper for a micro, a little half sheet, and then some dot grid and lined paper at the very back. I also have the back cover, which I have eraser shavings stuck to. So it's got little black marks, but they're basically just eraser shavings. The back cover and the back cover. In vellum, or yeah, the vellum back cover. Anywho, that's it, you guys. So that's my flip through of all of my After the Pen April, right? April spreads. Losing track. Hopefully you guys like this format. It's probably going to have to be this way for at least the near future until I figure out the internet situation. But if you were able to jump on chat, I'm super excited that you could join me, and hopefully I could answer questions as like feedback right away. And if you are watching after the fact, you can check the chat. I think that you can save it with the video, but if not, go ahead and leave me a comment on this video. Make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't already, all that good stuff. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up down below. Also too, go ahead and leave me a comment. Again, if you'd like to get in touch, and think about subscribing to my channel if you haven't already, if you'd like to see more of my videos. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and we will see you next time. Bye!